Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas. Got an interesting comment on my YouTube channel, and I print screened it. The guy deleted it actually, but I got a print screen before he deleted it. And so anyway, I posted it over on my Facebook, and with comments, and it got like 32 likes, and shares and everything, and people liked it. So I thought I'd just make a short video so let everybody on YouTube see this too. So here it is. I'm looking at it right there, and it says from Compilation Kartel. This is the channel. It says, Mr. Buddy Webb, the time has come for your videos to stop. I cannot continue using the tunnels in the way that I do with you posted this garbage on YouTube. I'll pay you to delete my comment and to remove your videos. I have no other way of contacting you. Regards, them. Okay. And as I said, they quickly deleted it, but I got a print screen of it. And so I'm going to show you. So when I posted it on my Facebook, the print screen, I wrote back here, Dear Compilation Kartel, I'm not sure you can give me what I'm asking for, which is truth and justice. I want my name cleared, and I want to see justice served. I would like for my mom to be undead, my daughter to be unraped. I want my foot back and to be untortured every day for 10 years. I want the people that murdered Mike Lawhon arrested, the people that murdered that little girl at the oil show arrested, the people that murdered Hailey Dunn arrested. I want the doctors that are killing people for profit arrested and held accountable for every man, woman, and child they've killed. I want the underground homes and tunnels exposed for the world to see, and for this, then I will sell you my home for my asking price of $1 billion with you paying the taxes. I think that's a bargain, to tell you the truth. You better think quick, because I'm thinking about increasing the asking price for my home. Sincerely, crippled crime victim, Buddy Webb. Okay, and so I posted that, and like I said, I got a whole bunch of likes on it and everything. But there was a couple things in there, I post all the this evidence and these proofs, and on these multiple murders and everything that's gone on here, and the what I call the move comments or the sell comments, I've had hundreds of them. I still got them. This is an old meme I made a long time ago, and I have it in one video called "Decided to Sell My Home" because of the just huge number of people that either asked, ordered me, or suggested that I sell my home. And of course, it's at the price they want. They desperately want me out of this house. Why? Because there is an underground home in the backyard where there was a little girl murdered. There is hidden access. They have broken this home every single day since I lived here, and they were breaking into it before I moved here. They killed the guy that lived here before me. They desperately want me out of this house because not only, I was shot, burglar alarms going off. Now we know homeowners all over the country reporting people in the attic. It's all connected, right? And so, anyways, here, these are just some of the old, print screens I got, because I'm always keeping them, and different people. I'd move, sell your house for $1 million, put your house and move. That's pretty scary. Move. Why don't you move? This is old stuff. I mean, I get this almost daily. I've had hundreds of them, hundreds from different people. Why stay in Midland? Why don't you move, sell, and move the F out, you moron? She needs to be investigated, right? That's one of them rude people. You need to get out of there before it's worse. So there's the threat, Why don't you move out of that place? And it's a very serious threat, let's be serious about that. They already shot me. If I were you, I'd move, and then I would move, I'd move, okay? And so that's the point I'm making. But it's not just move. They're wanting me to move while under threat of death, okay? And so here's just a few of these death threats, here's this one here. Fast forward 2 weeks, and Mr. Buddy Webb is nowhere to be seen, Here's another one. I'm going to have a wellness check on you. Here's another one. He's spreading everything over the net with everyone's name, and he's going to wind up in a hole, okay? Randy Wash, you better stop worrying about it. They're going to get the snitch, So somebody breaks in your home, shoots you, and you report it to law enforcement, you're a snitch, That's something I didn't know, And here's Lance Eggleston. I share this one all the time. You will be silenced, not if, but when. And the longer part is Lance wrote me, and he says, we have access to your residence at all times. Nobody will ever believe your story. You will be silenced, not if, but when, And then you might want to check your vents in your house for circulation oxygen seems to be low. And I tell you what, the real truth is that I've long suspected that I'm being poisoned, and I've wrote the law enforcement about that. Here's the big key to this whole thing. It's called the Hobbs Act. Okay, this is the law. Okay, and basically the law says anybody conspires to extort or attempts to extort from a property owner shall be fined under this title in prison more than 20 years. Here, let me read it better. Whoever in any way, degree, obstructs, delays, or affects commerce or the movement of article or commodity in commerce by robbery, extortion, or attempts or conspires to do so. So basically, terrorizing a homeowner to sell their property at the price you want, that's against the law and it carries 20 years in prison. Okay. It's frequently used in connection with cases involving police corruption. That's because when you go to the police and go, they're breaking in my home, here's all this evidence, I've got all this tons of evidence, and they look the other way because they're wanting to sell your home, right? And, so they're trying to gain property via threat. That's against the law, right? And then lastly, extortion means the obtaining of property from another with his consent, induced by wrongful use of actual or threatened force, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So basically, if you went to grade school with Detective Rosie Rodriguez, y'all can't get together and say, hey, let's just break in this house and terrorize him, and and here our other friend, we'll go over there and go, I'd sell that home of you, and go, no, I'll break in the home for you. And this other one goes, well, I'll send him a death threat and say you'll be silenced, not if but when, and we'll all work together, and then we'll get we'll get him to sell that property at the price we want, And so I made that video, decided to sell my home, and what I did was I went through this whole video. It's kind of funny. I posted on Facebook, decided to sell my home. And all these people, that never comment, I think that's a good idea, buddy. I'm sure glad you're finally doing that, And they didn't read the whole thing. Because at the bottom I said, and I set the price, and the price is $1 billion, And so, that's where that come from in my reply back. Here's the price at $1 billion. Because it's my home, I set the price, right? And what it does is make the point that not only are they working together to terrorize me out of my home, right, to sell them the home, they're wanting to get it at the price they want. That's a violation of the Hobbs Act, carries 20 years in prison for the people conspiring to do that. Okay, and so here I want to show you another one on the bribe side of it. This guy, I've known him all my life. Went to ever since a kid in Hobbs, New Mexico, Bart Barton, and he wrote this to me in a private message not long after I'd survived this murder attempt, And he's a wealthy man from my hometown of Hobbs, New Mexico. It says, this type of thing's been happening since the first bribe was thought of about 30,000 BC, I'm guessing. Where the cops are doing an inside job. If that's what happened with you, that sucks, And I think it was a hint saying, the cops were bribed for $30,000. That's what kind of how I read it. But there are good people out there too that will help you. You know that. For what it's worth, I had at least 20 homes in my life, so I don't quite understand you being attached to one property at risk of my life. No way I'd stay. That's what I call a move comment, right? Is trying to under threat, trying to entice me to sell my property at the price they want. Okay, if you're determined to stay, that's your choice. Are they gone now? Did they leave or go torment other people? If they did, you kind of won, minus half a foot, which is tragic, but you stood your ground. Did you have identification of who they are? Photos of their faces? And I think that was more gloating. That's what that was. Also, have you tried to close up the tunnels? Has Danny been to your house? Danny is my brother and knows my brother, which hasn't helped, and I'm sure he already knew that, and that was part of the rude comment is what it was. And so that was the Compilation Kartel. Okay, I don't have much on this video. Let's see. I've got one other Facebook post that's a YouTube comment, and I want to show you that, and we'll talk about that, and then I'll close this out. Okay, and this one I think you're going to find real interesting. Yesterday was the 10th anniversary of when 13-year-old Hailey Dunn was reported missing from Colorado City, Texas. And Clint Dunn, the father's private investigator, Erica Morse, made a video. It had, when I watched it last night, there were 6,000 views. And she pretty much mentioned me without calling my name out, It was, I think the word she used was a very mentally disturbed person. And, and we're not going to listen to it, but that's what it was. She... and I want that's why this print screen is important. And I'm going to show you what was wrote on this here. Okay, so this is on my YouTube channel, and this was only a couple of months ago. And Erica Morse, the private investigator for Hailey Dunn, she says, "Do not believe a man." This word says he's mentally disturbed and has no concrete information on the Hailey Dunn case. Okay, and then I did a whole big write-up that day when I replied back to Erica. One of the first things I'm going to show is called tampered with the witness. See, back when the people under my home cut my phone lines, set burglar alarms off, and shot me by surprise, then all I had was this crazy story. I'm the first to admit that's a crazy story. Imagine me having to convince people in the attic, somebody in my home shot me. But now there's absolute proof showing I wasn't shot with my gun, right? So we know somebody shot me. There's multiple homeowners across Midland, Odessa, Texas, and other states reporting people in the attic. Okay, and that alone should be a national news story. That tells you how big this is. Organized crime, widespread racketeering, burglary, thefts, murders. It's huge is what it is by itself. And then multiple people documented saying tunnels and underground homes, or a whole list of them. One of them was a recent candidate for sheriff, said our last sheriff used to hang out down there, and then you have the secret police that I paid to get identified, took 6 years. They're caught tampering with evidence, lying on police reports. You look at the evidence, then it's real clear. This story's crazy, but Buddy ain't. But them lies trying to smear my name is to try to cover up a capital attempted murder. That's what that is, And that was part of my reply back to her. I said, you better rethink what you're doing when you're smearing my name, defaming my character in the public, especially if you're doing it to cover up crimes. And I think in this case, it's probably trying to cover up the Hailey Dunn murder. Okay, the murder of this little 13-year-old famous kid. Okay, and so I replied back on that, and I'm going to show you this here. Obstruction of justice here. Okay, Clint Dunn's private investigator Eric Morse wrote me on my YouTube channel. Do not believe a word this man says. He's mentally disturbed and has no concrete information on the Hailey Dunn case. I said, anybody who defames my character in the public after I proved that I wasn't shot with my gun, found homeowners all over Midland, Odessa, Texas, and many other states reporting people in the attic, and documented multiple people as saying that tunnels and underground homes is a suspect, because I'm a victim of a home invasion and murder attempt. And I just tell you, that's a crime. Okay, if you're doing that to cover up capital murder attempt on my life, smeared my name in the public, defaming my character, that's a crime. And with around a dozen people documented saying that Hailey was killed in Odessa, which includes who, where, how, and small details, then that means Hailey was killed in Odessa. It looks like the person that is trying to muddy the waters in the investigation for the murder of this child is Erica Morse. That was part of her video last night. There's people out there trying to muddy the waters for Erica Morse. And every time we have to investigate, nothing happened in Odessa. Bull crap, And then I went on. Don't forget that Michael Morales is on record as saying that he heard Clint Dunn, the father, was pimping out Hailey to his old friends for $500 a trick, not $450, not $400, not $300, $500, or that their mother, Billy Dunn, was said to be a stripper by multiple people who was taking Hailey to the strip club with her, right? This is why I've suspected that Hailey was at the underground oil show parties here near my home, where another young girl was murdered at in 2010. And there are some very powerful people that don't want anybody to find that out. Hailey went missing like 2 months after them oil show parties. I'm suspecting she was here because her mom was a stripper, and it makes sense that all the strippers were ordered to work. And I was told she was taking Hailey, that 13-year-old little girl, to the strip club with her. So it makes sense she took her to the oil show parties, And that's why they don't want that case solved, is the people, these wealthy, powerful people in these oil show parties, they don't want anybody to find out there's a 13-year-old famous missing, murdered child that was at a sex party with them. That's my theory, okay? And so I just wanted to show you that. And then lastly here, Landman, Keith Turbin phone call. That was my recent video. In that video is the phone call with this landman, and he's telling me how he had a private investigator investigated a secret police or Midland police officer, April Chandler, and she was getting large sums of money, like $50,000 a time. And he was, it was speculated that she was getting bribe money, and he said that she had framed him. And and then I was telling him, well, she had been, it's proven that she tampered with evidence, lied on police reports in the capital murder attempt on my life, And so that was on the bribe stuff. And then I think I have all the big recent Hailey Dunn video, because I got a lot of them, right? I mean, there's so many people. I probably have a dozen people documented. That was the other thing she said last night was, oh, there's two people that are messing with that poor sick man's mind, or some kind of crap. Just smeared my name without calling me out. And, I think the reason she didn't call me out, because I already told her, you defaming my character, you better be careful, because I'm the victim of capital attempted murder, right? Here it is. Hailey Dunn witness is now dead. 791 views. And that is an incredible video in itself. That's my latest Hailey Dunn video. A woman over in Odessa had contacted me and said she believed Hailey was killed in her house, 6619 Cloud Cross Street over in Odessa, and she was afraid for her life. And I sent her what she told me. She had names and everything, and I sent it over to our Midland Chief of Police, and then he said thank you, and then he blocked my emails, okay? And so I didn't mention it because she asked me not to, and she's afraid for her life. Well, the other day I was thinking about it. I went and looked her up and found out she died 6 months later. Well, obviously she's murdered. And then I believe that address that she told me about, that house was burned down. I feel 100% sure that is the location that Hailey was killed at. And them names she called out was the same names called out by multiple other people. By Allison, by Sonia Renee Callahan, and and here's this one, the latest one, and so anyway. These YouTube comments, I often keep track of them, if they're slanderous, defamation of character, I'm taking print screens, I'm getting the channel ID, and, because I think that might be important later, tracking down the people that murdered Mike Lawhon, the last homeowner, murdered the little girl, and tried to murder me. Obviously, them people are watching my YouTube channel, and they probably don't want me to post videos, just like Compilation Kartel. Talk to y'all later. Bye.